So let's have a look at the revolved low lunge, because we are doing this in some of our practices at the moment as we move through our Ashtanga flows. So we might be here in a practice, we might even be here, but for many, walking through the door in yoga, that might seem very overwhelming, and it's an unrealistic jump to go from beginner to there. So these are all the steps that we will break these down. So understanding the mechanics of the pose, you're working on spinal rotation and hip mobility, first of all. So if you're a beginner, or you didn't want to put any like isometric load through the thighs, through the knees, let's say you've got poorly knees, don't want to put any weight or too much weight on them, then you can sit on your bottom, hands in prayer, and practice rotating. And this rotation through the spine really helps as you move on in your practice into things eventually like side crow. So practicing just the spinal twist element of it is wonderful for your posture, for opening up the shoulders, for just gaining a little bit more strength around the tummy whilst extending the lower legs, no pressure on the legs. Now maybe you want to go a little bit higher. Maybe we want to practice the lunge, so maybe a little bit leaning forwards. We don't have to be up at all, zero effort around the knee. We could just be here, palms together. And then maybe we're working on a next step where we introduce the twist from here. Just a small rotation. And then from here, maybe we start to explore the lunge. So toes up, knee facing down, pressure into the front foot so you can feel the load, application through the thigh, through the glutes. Maybe you're not as high to start or low, maybe you're here, so I'm coming out of the camera. Maybe you are lower. Then maybe we come back to the spinal twist, so adding it in. Maybe on one particular day it's not, your balance isn't so good, so we come down. Maybe we try again, maybe we're somewhere in between here, just working the strength of the knee, the stability of the knee, the strength around the thigh, the glutes. Nice. Now maybe we're a little bit more established and we want to try working towards the bind, placing the outside elbow against the outside of the knee, little rotation through the spine, a bit of pressure against the knee, pressure against the elbow, so they're working together, gaze is high. Maybe that's too much, so we put the knee back down, but we are just applying the twist, that beautiful stretch through the spine. Maybe we're going a little bit further. So in one of our classes, we're practicing this a little bit deeper. So again, come back on the knee so we're stable. So rather than putting the outside of the elbow here, and you might just be practicing this, we're going to slowly start working a little bit up the arm. So we need to twist. Now we need to apply reach forwards. So we can work up the arm a little bit, and that's really important. A lot of people, when they start, they kind of go inwards to the pose, so there isn't a lot of space for the body. Always think of expansion. So from here, we rotate, we inhale, we lift up. We exhale, we fold forwards. I'm really creating space through the vertebrae. And now I'm going a little bit deeper. It might not be as deep here, but wherever that is, a little bit higher up the arm. And then practicing the rotation from there. Twist, breathe up, reach forwards. Again, this is once we're here, then we're probably working on things like, we've moved on from crow, we're working on side crow. So all of these poses support the bigger practice. And then maybe we're integrating the balance, ooh, she says. And then maybe we're using our blocks and we're exploring going all the way down and all the way up. So there's so many progression steps. Now obviously we take our time to learn all of these steps, and if we're working on the bind, we'll work first on opening the shoulder, opening the arm. Then we'll find that stability of bringing the hand off of the block, maybe just placing the hand along the thigh, maybe working underneath the leg and rotating through the spine. See, there are so many steps for each pose. And again, every step is valuable. So if you are here, you are really building strong foundations in a safe way for the poses when you are ready to apply a little bit more load through the thighs, through the lower legs, through the buttocks. And then it all comes together nice and safely and at your own time, your own pace. Yeah, so this is how we work together as a group, working on lots of different steps of the progression within the pose, and you pause at what pace, what space you feel is right for you.